So a time where I felt very uncomfortable was a time when I used to live in Dayton and I worked at a Meyer in electronics. And depending on the day, you could have a whole bunch of money or you could not really have a bunch of money. But I believe on this day, I had a quite a bit of money in a drawer. And this gentleman came up and is like one of those people that you just like you look at, you make eye contact with, and you're like, shoot, like here it comes. And from just an appearance aspect, just the way he was dressed. Um, I don't even really know how to say it. His vibe, I guess, his charisma. I don't know. But like the way he just approached me, I was kind of like, all right, like what's going on? Um, and then when he did get to the desk, it was like the 10-5-2 rule didn't exist because number one, he's a customer. Two, I need to be polite, see if he needs anything, what can I help him with, whatever. Um, so it wasn't like I could assess the situation and like keep my distance, whatever. No, he came right up to me because technically he's a customer, he needs help. Um, but what even like looking back at it and in the time it happened too, I can tell you already what made me uncomfortable was just the way he talked. He talked super fast. He was jumping subject to subject to subject. He wasn't coming to you asking you a question about something and then trying to learn about something. He was just like, oh, what's this? Blah 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 all over the place. Um, which kind of made me, put up a red flag. Like, okay, what's his end game here, kind of, or like, what information is he just trying to get out of me, or whatever. And then also a lot of hand movement. So, granted, there's a desk, separating us, but he's moving his hands all over. He's reaching kind of across, just very um, amplified hand movements, all over. Um, in the area I was at too, we also had there was a drug problem. I mean, all the time there was people coming in overdosing in the bathroom, coming in on drugs. I can't speak 100%, but I feel like I've interacted or encountered people back there plenty of times who were under the influence. So to me, I'm thinking too, okay, maybe it's under the influence. If you want to do something just like off the chain, or I don't know. Um, but eventually, I'm trying. Eventually, nothing I don't think ever happened. He came over, talked, asked a bunch of questions, and back in electronics too, you have a bunch of stuff locked up, and iPads, and Apple Watches, TVs, game systems, all this type of stuff. Um, but I think at the end of the day, he didn't actually end up doing anything. He was just talking a lot. It was kind of just giving me some really weird vibes. This made me kind of feel uncomfortable because it's like, okay, what are you trying to get at? But at the end of the day, nothing ended up happening. He ended up at least leaving my department. I don't know what he did after, but also his pace and walking was one thing. He came up walking really fast, and when he left, he was walking really fast, which is kind of I don't know, like he was on a mission, So that was another thing I think that kind of threw me off. Um, but how I felt like I handled it pretty well. I don't want to say I was rude, but I was very concise, short, to the point. I didn't really engage in super, you know, egregious conversation with them or nothing like that. I just he asked a question and whatever, straight to the point, told him. It wasn't really messing around with getting off the subject or trying to extend my conversation with them. So I feel like I handled the situation well. Overall, though, I wouldn't say I was scared. I just felt uncomfortable. And there's a lot of times I was at the store and felt uncomfortable just because I felt like people were either under the influence or people were just, you know, maybe because I was like a worker there, but people are just kind of seem like they're always watching you, keep an eye on you, seeing where you're at and stuff. So I would really be like, okay, like, what are you doing? I'm just a person sitting here working. So, um, but that's one that just definitely stuck out in my mind, just because I guess the way I anticipated it going compared to the way it actually happened and the way it ended was different. So this is one topic or one interaction I had that really stuck out to me.